All right, so recently I did some work out back behind my shop. We moved some shipping containers around and we built a little roof over top to protect some of our equipment. And I remembered I had this boat in one of the shipping containers, and since I had to move it out, I figured, you know, this is a good time to work on it as well. Now, Aaron reminded me that it's actually been 2 years since we dragged this 1961 McCulloch Scottsdale out of a boathouse way up north and dragged it home. Hasn't ran in 60 years. In this episode, we're gonna try and fire this thing up for the first time and then get into restoring this boat a little bit. What's also been 2 years is our calendar, which is why this one says 2024. Now, Aaron's been working hard. We've got a brand new calendar available with our latest projects, and you can find that on DeBossGarage.com. Now, we haven't been pushing our merch lately because we've had some warehouse issues and those are all resolved. Aaron's working behind the scenes to make sure that our shipping is as low as it possibly can be to any country because we ship globally. So we want to head over to DeBossGarage.com right now and check out all the new stuff that's available. We got some locally made keychains by T&K. We've designed all new merch as well, from small to 5XL. So there's something for everybody. And keep in mind that anything that you buy goes towards your chance to win a laser welder as well. Check out the review on that, but definitely let's get into this video because this one's a pretty cool one. Very excited with this old boat, and nice little project to squeeze in between some big ones, and a perfect one for Baxter. So let's get into it. Here we go. All right, so we got the man on the job because you bragged about all your small engines, your quads that you flip, your bikes and everything. And you need to get this thing running.
It looks promising.
It
doesn't look in terrible shape.
It doesn't look in terrible because there's probably only 10 hours on this thing. So I would start by cleaning the last of this thing up.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this thing look really, really good. Biggest thing that we couldn't get is spark. So we got a bunch of new parts for you. We got the original carbs. We're gonna clean all of that up, put a carb kit in it, and we're gonna listen to this thing purr. I would...
Paint never really seems to stick to aluminum very well, eh?
No, it doesn't. Keep in mind, this is like 70 years old.
Oh, I'm just saying in general though.
Yeah. So we're gonna need some new fuel lines. I don't know if this fuel pump is any good, but what we'd like to do is get the sparks figured out first. And then we can just spray some fuel inside the holes and see if we can get it to cough.
Oh, where's the, oh, there's the flywheel.
Yeah, we couldn't get the flywheel off and we couldn't get any spark out of these points. So now that we got the points, see if we can get some sparky. So first things first is we'll clean it all up. The cables are seized, we'll take the cables off. We'll see if we can free them up. Are you moving those?
Yeah.
Oh, so that one works. So that's, yeah, that works.
That's forward and reverse.
Okay. And throttle, right?
Where's the throttle? I don't know what's going on here.
And I think that one's seized. I think we took that off. So I think that's, take this cable off and we'll see if we can free that up.
Lever system. That's
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That still works, look. Pretty neat, eh?
Yeah.
It was just a cool old little boat to go up and down the good old Grand River with your family. A little flag off the front, little Canadian flag just flapping in the wind there.
You paint it?
The whole boat?
Yeah.
I don't think so. We'll try and polish it. I like the old original look.
Oh, we can get Home Depot to paint match this.
But I think we would like to paint the engine if we can get it sounding good and running good. So first things first, clean her all up. No idea what this thing kind of goes up and down.
What is that? Solenoid?
I'm just saying, I don't know what it is. Master mechanic here on the carbs, what are you thinking?
I got, oh shit. I got this loosened up.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right seized before. So
Nice.
I just gotta hook up the spring. And then I did put new parts in the bottom of this.
You took the bowl off, you put all new jets in there?
No, it only came with this one valve so when your bowl gets filled with gas.
Oh, the needle in the seat?
Yeah.
Okay.
This valve turns it off.
All right, I'm gonna take the fuel pump off and put new gaskets in that. Do we have new gaskets for the fuel pump?
What's the fuel pump look like?
This guy, little rectangle stuff.
I got an extra one for the carburetor. We could cut these up and make a rectangle one if we need to.
We got some of this stuff. What is this?
That's for the other carb.
It's amazing that this hose is even flexible at all, but I'll pull it off and see what it's like. Maybe the gasket's still okay.
I'd reuse all the hosing on this thing.
You should, eh?
Yeah, it only has 10 hours on it.
Nothing more exciting than your outboard catching on fire in a fiberglass boat with your family sitting right there in the middle of the lake, right?
You just jump in the water.
Yeah, there's lots of water to put the fire out, no problem. Okay, so the fuel pump, it's pretty basic, just one check valve in here. Don't think there's another one in here. I don't see the point of that, it still works. And we did have a gasket for it. So put the gasket on it. We cleaned it all up, cleaned up the surface, ran our laser welder over top, just cleaned off all the corrosion. And if you haven't seen that video, definitely check that out, really cool. So basically it's just taking, must be vacuum from the engine, and sucking and blowing, or maybe just sucking, and then the check valve pulls in fuel. So throw that gasket on, throw it back together again, and hopefully that works. All right, so we got the points cleaned up on this side. Got 2 broken bolts in here. I had to take it apart to clean the points and open this up. The points luckily were open, so they're not damaged. I tried to get new ones and I couldn't get some. So I'm trying to weld this washer on here to grab the broken bolt. Hopefully that'll heat it up and allow me to spin it out. But it's about 50-50 for these, but I've got lots of washers to try, so. All right, so if we have any hope of starting this engine, we need our points to be good. Now, this is an old 50s engine, so it's got points ignition, which means that these points open and close in order to collapse the field in your secondary windings. Because remember, you got like a 12-volt battery, but we need like 40,000 volts to jump a gap. So what it does is create a contact between these 2 points. But I'm having trouble sourcing these exact points. But we were lucky because I think that this engine had both points open. When an engine stops, it basically comes up to the next compression stroke and makes a bit of compression and then doesn't fire because you shut it off, and that piston comes back down again. So that's why you see the flywheel kind of shake at the end. It's turning, coming compression, and comes back. So the points were open. So all we're doing is taking a little bit of fine emery cloth and folding it in half and then sticking it between the points and then just squeezing and just sliding that through just to clean up that surface a little bit. And it just puts a little finish on there, nice and even. You don't want to like wipe it because you want to keep even pressure on these points and just slide that through. It doesn't hurt it. Don't do too much of it. But if there's no circle on it, I got a nice even shiny patch on there now, and I only ran it through. I'm going to do one more time, 3 times, and that should be enough to make these points work. I'll do this to the other one, and as long as the capacitors are good, it should open and close the points and collapse my field. Here we go. Okay, so we got our points installed here, and that when it's on the cam, we need to set it to about 18 thou. I'll show you guys how to do that later. First, I want to try and get this started. We got a little bit of wiring to clean up here. So this is the wire going to the starter solenoid. And we took the carbs off so that we can just spray some fuel in there and eliminate the carbs. This is the choke. I can run the choke by hand. I got to source one of these, but this is the actual choke solenoid. And as you can see, she's fried. But we're gonna jump some steps just to see if we can get this thing to make some smoke. Okay, now, two things that we gotta take care of before we even try to think about turning it over is make sure that we have some oil in here. I'd be surprised if there was anything in here, but holy cow, look at that. It still has oil. And it smells like you almost think that's a bit dark, but I think, oil back then was a little darker. It actually smells really good. We will change the oil. There's a drain right here and there's a fill right here. Now you want to check this every time you go out because as you can see, this has a bunch of parts inside of this and this is what's lubricated with the oil. So if you do have a leak, you don't see it because it's constantly getting washed off in the water, and before you know it, you take your final drive out. So basically every time you go out in the water, make sure that she's topped up, and if not, I wouldn't even take it out because you will destroy that very, very quickly. The other thing is the water pump, but we're just gonna put this whole thing in a pail of water. We've got our battery ready to go. These are the 12-volt supplies. One's for choke, one's for ignition. One is what feeds the front. So basically the power comes from the front, goes all from the back, goes all the way to the front, comes back, turns on the ignition. One is for the choke and one is for the starter. So we had it was down to 8 volts on this wire. So I just ran a direct one to my battery that would act as the ignition. And then we have another one to control the starter from back here, just so we can kind of monitor what's going on. The choke is stuck on, which is why that solenoid broke. And that's, we'll worry about that later. I can run the choke just by doing this. We got a little bit of 2-stroke fuel and a spray bottle that we can spray into the carbs just to get it going, see if it'll run on its own juice after we get it fired up. We've got oil in the outdrive, and we're gonna put that in a pail of water to try and see if the water pump works. When you're cranking it over, slow is fine, the water pump doesn't get hot, so you're not doing any damage, but we want the water to keep that impeller blade cold, and we're looking for water coming out of here. So, you ready, Baxter?
Yep. Yep.
What are the chances of it getting going?
Pretty slim, I'd say. Those plugs were pretty mangled. Everything was mangled on this thing.
I think the mice have been working on trying to get this thing running for decades. So I guess, yeah, whatever. But we'll see. I'm confident.
So which one do I touch it on, George?
Oh, quick, this one. Right here.
What do you mean?
Right.
Smoking.
This one. Yeah, quick, turn around. Keep going. Keep going. You were not expecting that.
No.
All right. Yep. That's awesome. That sounds good. We gotta see if there's water coming up. It feels dry, so I don't think so. I don't think it's running on its own fuel yet. So those throttle plates are closed now. Let's see if we can get it to idle. Yeah. And there's nothing coming out of here yet, is there?
No, not in that.
Okay. Well, I think that's good enough for me. That I'm confident that we'll get it fine-tuned with some throttle control and whatever else. So take her apart, paint her up, and make it look beautiful.
put some muriatic acid on it, clean up the aluminum, and then I put paint stripper on it, and then pressure washed it, and some of the paint came off, but not a lot.
Yeah, so
just the loose spots.
That's all we want.
Yeah.
These are the old plugs again?
No.
Ah, they were so nice and shiny. Not shiny anymore. Told you, put the old plugs back in. Anyway, you're gonna blow it dry. We're gonna paint this red, and then we'll brush white on the inside so we don't get overspray on everything. All the other parts are unseized. We're getting another set of carbs for it, and the throttle cable's on its way. So we're not too far off from having this thing kind of finished.
Yeah, and then we'll have to see how fast it can go.
All right, Baxter did an incredible job painting this. He was a little nervous about putting some of this stuff back together again. Take pictures of what you have and it will go easy. I'm just a little worried about the timing advance and setting up the points again. So he put the basic stuff back on again and we're gonna go from there. So the timing advance, it's kind of neat. It sits on there and is able to rotate a little bit. We got that freed up. There's little tabs that just slide under here. And if you just jam it on there, it's gonna break. So those tabs you gotta turn it all the way, stick it on, and then turn it. We got our starter solenoid. We're gonna replace that. We've got our coil and a better set of carbs too. I think we took those carbs apart and they were pretty rough. So we got another set of carbs for this thing as well. So yeah, let's put it together. Here we go. When you're setting points, the points need a gap of about 18 thou, or roughly a business card if you're in a jam. But since this is a 2-cylinder, I can feel the compression coming up on the next cylinder, and that means that the lobe is on the very back side of this one when you're almost at top dead center on the other one. So that gap is pretty significant. That's way too big. So what we can do is loosen these 2 bolts. And you can see the spring tension wants to close that. Stick our feeler gauge in there. Now we want to have a little bit of resistance. I can feel that resistance. I can see that the lobe is not opening. So what we want is the lobe on the back side or the heel of the cam. And then we want to feel just a little bit of resistance in our feeler gauge here. And that is 18 thou. So what's happening here is this point, as you can see, is closed. There's current being able to flow between here and here. Now when this opens, when it come up onto the high side like this, the field collapses. Now this opens up and the field is no longer able to, or the current is no longer to go from here to here, and that is because of this capacitor. So it would normally jump the gap and it would arc like a spark plug, but the capacitor takes that extra energy and stores it temporarily. What happens when this field collapses is the current is not able to stay on the windings in the coil, and you've got primary windings in here and secondary windings. And what happens is the primary windings have nowhere to go, so they collapse on the secondary windings. And because there's so many thousand more secondary windings, we're able to take 12 volts that's here and make 40,000 volts here to be able to jump the gap in the spark plug. As soon as the engine keeps turning, like I said, these points are open a very long time, and that's actually what saved it. As soon as the points close again, like so, current's able to flow again, and that is how you make spark from a 12 volt jumping to 40,000 volts. Now you can touch 12 volts, nothing happens. When you touch 40,000 volts, you'll hear it and you'll see it. You'll hear the tick and you'll hear somebody go, ah! So if you're checking for spark, just get somebody to hold the wire. You don't always see it, but you always feel it. Now voltage won't kill you. That 40,000 volts won't kill you, but 1/3 of an amp will stop your heart. 1/3 of an amp will also start it again too. But that's in your CPR course. We're trying to rebuild a boat engine. Okay, now to test it, put your voltmeter on ohms, make sure that you read 0 when you've got good contact, touched both terminals. 12 ohms resistance with the gear shift on forward. We'll shift it to neutral, you'll see this move. Now it's pushing in the buttons, it should be 0. And then if we go into reverse, or this might be forward, I don't know. It should be somewhere between 12 and 14 again, or 15, or somewhere around there. You got some sort of reading. We got it. From here, I think this is supposed to hit that, so we're gonna adjust that quickly, and then we're ready to throw the flywheel on. It's starting to look like an engine. Nice. One other thing before the flywheel goes on is I see that this little lever is supposed to hit that pin right there, and it's not. This lever isn't moving up and down. That hits the shifter here, and I can see the little nub there above the shifter's not coming down. So you gotta pull that out. I think that has something to do with just stalling it for that half a second as you shift it, so that it doesn't grind when it goes into gear. The button works, but I gotta pull that lever, this lever out. Just gonna take that off there, see if I can pull it out, get it to slide up and down. Just these little things that you gotta pay attention to everything, right? Okay, so that didn't end well. I've got little plastic plunger that goes through, kind of seals the water out, but is able to move up and down, but it actually broke. And I think it's because the bottom there is worn out. It looks like it's mushroomed a little bit and isn't able to go up and down. Luckily, I have another one, and that one moves just fine. That plunger looks great. So we're gonna knock this one out and just replace it. Even though I lubed this up, it doesn't want to go in the hole up and down, and it just needs to move up and down a little bit. Now I could shave some of the plastic off, but then that leads to water coming in. We don't want that. What we need to do is clean the hole, but the hole is way down in there. You can barely even see it. And I got to go around the corner, and I don't know how to get in there. But then I thought, you know what? I've got my Cleaner Hole 2000 here, which is just a Sawzall with a worn out Sawzall blade with one of my paint gun cleaners bolted through the end of it. Now, if you're wondering where can I find tools like this, well, you can go to our website, DeVosGarage.com, where I sell all my worn out Sawzall blades, my dull skill saw blades, my broken drill bits, and you know, whatever else, dead batteries. Now this is multi-purpose. Not only is it the Cleaner Hole 2000, but you can also like duct tape a spray bomb to this and mix it. No, I'm just kidding. Those are not available on our website. It's not garbage, and it's borderline hoarder, but they still have a use. There's lots of other cool stuff on our merch store, so check that out. We appreciate that. That helps us keep junk like this on the water and on the road. But in the meantime, I'm going to shove this in there and try to clean out that hole, and hopefully that thing will be able to slide in and out nice. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, that's much better. We got her. I'll put that in. Tighten that back up again. One more system working. And that leaves us to the carburetor. So let's grab the carbs, we'll put them on the table, we'll go over them, pop them on, and we're almost there. Here we go. All right, so we got this nice acetone that we dipped our carb in. We let it soak for a little bit, and then basically it's just a matter of cleaning everything and making sure that the jets are open. So very straightforward. Your air comes in through here, creates a siphoning effect, and it pulls up fuel from the bowl, which is in here, and it puts it through a metered orifice and sprays enough fuel in to keep your engine running. So the more your throttle plate opens, the more air rushes past, the higher the velocity of air is going through, the more fuel it pulls in. The fuel is entered in the bowl through this little needle and seat, and that gets shut off by your float. There's a little reserve amount of fuel in here that gets picked up by your jets. You don't want it filling up too full, so what happens is this float will rise and lower as the fuel goes in and allow more or less fuel to come past the needle into here. So a couple things to keep in mind: you got to shake your float, make sure that it's not leaking. If it's leaking and fuel goes inside, it's going to hang down in the fuel. It's not going to shut your needle and seat off, and you're going to flood your carb. A bunch of fuel is going to come out, and then your engine's going to catch fire, and then it's going to sink. So it's going to be, you're going to be on the news. A lot of emphasis on this little guy. The needle and seat, this is a plastic one. I think it'll be okay. It's a little bit gummy, but cleaned it up. And then really, you can change the sizes of jets inside there. I wanted to pull that one out, but it did not want to come out nicely, so I'm going to leave it and hope for the best. And then just your idle screws right there to figure out how much fuel goes in on idle, because you don't have much vacuum, right? And everything moves up and down nice. These are moving way nicer than the other carb. So while the other carb is soaking, make sure that if you do use acetone, that you use gloves and a respirator, because the stuff stinks, and put it back together the way you found and put it together. The only gaskets I was able to get for this is this for the bottom of this guy that holds the bowl on, and 2 gaskets attaching them to the engine. So I think these have ran in the last few years, whereas the other ones probably didn't run for about 60. Here we go. Okay, so looking at the carburetors, these levers go against the arms, or the throttle plates. So you can do it either by hand or with the throttle cable here. It's kind of a, if your throttle cable's crap, you can use it with this. Probably because it's meant for not just like a fancy one with a steering wheel and a throttle. The problem is that this adjusts the timing, but this is adjusted wrong, because what happens is you advance the timing up until about here, and then this arm goes into this slot here, and the timing doesn't change, but you're able to rev it up higher. Right now I wouldn't be able to rev it up at all, so I gotta pull the flywheel off again and adjust that. These are the things to figure out as I go. Shouldn't have put the flywheel on yet, but anyway, yeah, that's no big deal. We can handle that. Okay, so a little bit of an oops there, because that lever hits until you stick it in gear, then that drops down, then that lever goes over top of that threaded rod, and then you're able to continue and change the timing. So that's from the handle or from this lever down here. Now, I know, could read the manual, but I think I'm figuring this out quicker than reading the manual, and it's a thick manual. I gotta give me a break. It's a really thick manual. But anyway, now that I know that, I'll put that nut back on the bottom. That's all adjusted. I'm happy with that. We can put the flywheel back on again and put our carbs on, our choke, and we're almost there. So this wiring is also very janky, so I'm going to pull that out. Now I only have 4 wires. I got a green, a red, a white, and a black. Labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, but I love this trailer wire. So the trailer wire has 7 wires, all 14 gauge. Nicely protected front and back. Now I cut it open here and just opened up 2 wires, so that will be my light. They had a separate wire running for the light, so I'm going to run that across the back here. We're going to run that to the front, so we've got full controls in the front. So very straightforward, put it back the way you found it, but at least the wiring I'll know is good from start to finish. That's one thing that will leave you behind. All the wiring on here seemed pretty good. I'm not too concerned about the individual wires. They all looked really good, so we're gonna leave those alone. We're almost there, just, it keeps, one more thing, but look at that. Man, that thing's beautiful. All right, so this is a 1961 boat, and the rumor has it that it never ran more than a couple summers, so it's been about 60 years since this thing has fired up. I'm super happy that it ran and purred like it did. I love having my engines as a work of art. When you take that lid off, that's what we want. Now we want to do that with the rest of the boat as well. We'd love to throw it in the water, but unfortunately it is December, almost December, and winter has arrived in Canada. So all the docks are out, there's nobody on the water, so if we were to put this in the water and have an issue, we'd be putting ourselves in a stupid situation. So there's still some more stuff to do. Clean it up really well, go over the pinstriping. All the wiring is now done and the engine is done. One thing I'm not sure about though, and you guys might be able to chime in, is this hose that goes to the water pump. We didn't see any water coming out of here, and now I think that this might be some sort of hose that's it just goes into the back here, but I don't know, where does that go? If you guys have any idea, just chime in. All right, so I love this timepiece because it came with everything. The matching vintage skis, the matching vintage life jacket, the rope, the fuel tank. And we're gonna clean some of those up in the next episode. Now this fuel tank's a little rusty. I don't think it's any chance of exploding because the fuel that's in there is 60 years old like everything else. And we're probably gonna use our laser welder to take the rust off and give that a really nice new coat of paint. And speaking of the laser welder, if you head over to DeBossGarage.com right now, today's the last day to enter for the giveaway on that. So if you need some Christmas presents, you want some merch, it really helps support the channel. It gives you the chance to win a laser welder, and we really designed the website to try and motivate you guys to finish your own projects. Because remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Get out there, get motivated, get the tools, and get the job done. Because if you don't drag an old boat out of a boathouse and fix it up, nobody else is gonna do it. Here we go.